Now, whether you're a writer creating a song or an actor interpreting one, if you can answer these three questions, you'll have found the heart of the song and you'll know what to do with it. Hi, I'm Scott. You're watching Inside Musicals, the channel for all things musical theatre. I was talking to a friend of mine, a writer, about her musical, and she was stuck on a song and wanted my input. So thanks, Kathleen, for inspiring this video. She has an idea for the setting, the characters, the gist of what they have to say, but she hasn't found that one common denominator, that unifying concept that brings it all together, that turns it into a song with perspective and purpose and momentum. And the key to any song is not to try to do too much. Now, that doesn't mean it can't be busy or it can't be complex or that you can't delve deeply into the idea, but you should be able to define it in one simple statement. In Matilda the musical, the song A Little Bit Naughty says that even in the face of powerlessness, we can find joy in life's little rebellions. In Oliver, As Long as He Needs Me, Nancy's song is a woman defiantly steadfast to her man, no matter the personal cost. Simple statements. They're stylised, but they both make a point coming from character. But if your song is a dialogue set to music, it might be better served as dialogue, because it takes much longer to sing it than to speak it. And if it's just exposition, a character explaining the plot to another character, it's not drama, it's tedious. And music can't fix tedious. So here are the three questions I've heard my friend, three overlapping perspectives that can unlock any song. The first question is, what is the passionate reason for singing the song? And this is not about the writer saying, I really want a dance number here, or a novelty number, or a ballad. This is about character and how it humanises the song for the audience. What do they care about that we care about? The more specific to character, the more passionate, the more we empathise. And that's its universal appeal. We can think of this question as defining the motivation of the song, where it comes from, why it must be said now, and what makes it rise above regular dialogue. If a character recites a shopping list and we set it to music, the audience will be bored by the second verse, because they don't know where it's come from or where it's going. But if they recite a shopping list to avoid hearing their partner ask them for a divorce, suddenly we're listening. It's clear that they're in denial, and we relate to that. So we're paying attention. A soliloquy in Carousel is motivated by Billy's fear of fatherhood. That's his passionate reason for singing. As Long as He Needs Me is motivated by Nancy's refusal to betray Bill Sykes. And there might be more than one way to state these ideas. As Long as He Needs Me could be motivated from Nancy's fear of leaving Bill. Look for the answer that feels strongest to you. And this leads us to our second question. What is the character doing by singing the song? Now, this might be what they're trying to achieve or how they go about doing it. If there's more than one character in the song, is it from one person's perspective or from all of them equally? In which case, you need to answer the question for all of the characters. If you find yourself using words like expressing, explaining, conveying, they're expressing their love, explaining their vision for the future, conveying their pain. It's all just talk, not something an actor can play. So what are they doing by expressing or explaining or conveying? What's their methodology? How do they address the passionate reason for singing? Are they seducing, condemning, defending, convincing, bullying? What's an active verb that sounds powerful? The stronger it is, the clearer the action. In Les Mis, if we said Fantine was singing I Dreamed a Dream to convey her sadness, it's passive to the point of insipid. We don't really care because we think, well, why? But if we said that with her last bit of energy she's cursing anyone who ever betrayed her, or she's calling death to take away her pain, suddenly it's active. It has perspective. It's single-minded. It's something an actor can play and something an audience can care about. Now, As Long as He Needs Me might be motivated by Nancy's denial of Bill's true nature, and her methodology might be to defend herself from criticism. But who's she singing to? Herself. She's the only one in the scene. So maybe she's deciding whether to stay or leave. But then she couldn't leave if she wanted to. If Bill goes down, he'll take her with her. If she betrays him, he'll come looking for her. So maybe that decision's already made. Maybe the song's motivated by her fear of Bill or her denial, but her methodology is to justify staying put, to convince herself. That's what she's doing. But not all songs are doom and gloom. One of my favourite comedy duets is the tennis song from City of Angels. She's a wealthy socialite with a plan to kill her husband. He's a private detective who wants answers. So they're in conflict. That's their passionate reason for singing. Her action is to distract him by flirting. So the song's full of tennis metaphor and double entendre, and it's fun for an actor to play because it's physical, it's sexy, and it's funny. Or the song Hello Dolly from Hello Dolly. It's not particularly deep, doesn't really make a lot of sense, but if we frame it simply as a woman who's coming out of mourning for her husband and reclaiming her place in society, and if we say that the staff are bending over backwards, quite literally when you watch the choreography, to please her, it gives them all something to do. And it says something about her reputation and the regard in which she's held. In Soliloquy from Carousel, Billy's not just talking about fatherhood, he's talking himself into being a father. He's convincing himself, committing to it, and it's a turning point, so much so that he's willing to commit a crime to provide for his daughter. Which brings us to our third question, which is, what is the song's function in the musical? And this is about outcome. What does the character achieve by singing? What are the repercussions? Where does it take them? Where does it take the story? And this is what makes the song essential to the show. If you can drop it and it doesn't change the story, then it doesn't belong. Just a soliloquy leads Billy to do a bad thing for a good reason. The tennis song snowballs the complications between Stone and Allura. Fantine, resolved to her fate, brings Cosette and Jean Valjean together, changing the course of the story. In Oliver, Nancy sticks by Bill and pays a price with her life. In Gypsy, Everything's Coming Up Roses is motivated by Rose's refusal to accept that the show is washed up after June and the boys abandon them. This one decision to prove the world wrong, to keep plugging away at showbiz, has repercussions. It leads them to the burlesque theatre, where Louise ultimately becomes Gypsy Rose Lee. Without this song, the rest of the show wouldn't happen. Even Gotta Get a Gimmick, novelty song from the same show, answers these three questions. It's motivated by the strippers defending their profession. Their action is to convince Louise that all you need to be a stripper is no talent, but you got to have a gimmick. As a consequence, Louise has the confidence to fill in for one of the strippers, at which point she becomes Gypsy Rose Lee. In Into the Woods, the song Your Fault is a five-way conversation between Jack, Cinderella, Riding Hood, the baker, and the witch. It's motivated by grief, the loss of loved ones, and their action is to blame each other. As a consequence of the impasse, the witch agrees to take the blame if they'll all sacrifice Jack for the greater good. And ironically, the witch's heartlessness unites the others against a common enemy. Now, you might think it's reductive to define a song by only three questions, but it gives us a motivation, a process, and an outcome. And simplicity is clarity. Once you see the big picture, it's easier to wrangle the details. So if you're writing a lyric that doesn't fit with one of the answers, doesn't belong in the song, or you need to redefine your answer. Same with a performer. It might take you a while, but there is always an answer that works. So how do you get to the heart of a song? Do you have a strategy, or do you just kind of wing it till something comes to you? Leave me a comment and do all the good things that help me bring you more videos. But for now, thank you so much for watching. I love you. Get out there and be brilliant.